Hey guys, what's going on? Today I'll be talking about um, false false gurus, false teachers, false spiritual teachers. Um, Now, I guess so. This is going to be a short video, um, but basically, I just wanted to warn you guys about you know uh, people who claim to be enlightened and people who may or may not have the actual truth, and also spiritual teachers with a big ego, with an ego around um, being a spiritual teacher, um, or being, enlightened and all that. So, there's a Buddhist saying that says, it's a saying by Buddhists. It says, if you meet Buddha on the road, kill him. If you meet Buddha on the road, kill him. Why is that? Because if you see somebody who's more enlightened than you, and you think that they're not human, that they're like, a god or a saint or whatever, then you're gonna reject following your own path and your own enlightenment and go worship them when they don't need worshiping. They're just as human as you and I. So spiritual teachings can be dangerous. They can cause people to do harmful things and whatever. So you really got to be careful who you listen to, especially with this new age of YouTube gurus and YouTube teachers and all that. I could name names. I'm not gonna do that. Um, some people who watch my channel already know who I'm kind of talking about. And this is not just like about one person, but it's about just gurus in general, uh, whether they be on the internet or whatever. Um, if if they have if spiritual teachers have an ego about what they're teaching about, or about being an enlightened, know-it-all spiritual teacher who is, holier than thou and whatever, like, it's they might not have your best interests at heart. They might be looking to you know further their own agenda rather than looking out for your greatest good or your highest spiritual um, enlightenment and evolution. So, and like, that's another thing with like the new agey kind of teachers. Um, so in times past, there was, like a lineage, a tradition where the grandmaster would teach his students, and the best students would then become the teachers, and then that it would go down like that from generation to generation. Especially in the Taoist sect that I'm learning. Um, I'm not initiated into it, but I am learning from a master who has been initiated and all that. And so, you know, um, in times past, it's been that you had to learn from a master, and then you would carry on the teachings. But now in this new age, where basically people can just they can think they know spiritual truths, but they don't actually know spiritual truths. They can be disillusioned into, false Kundalini awakenings, false enlightenment, Kundalini psychosis, things like that, where it's like not an actual awakening, not an actual enlightenment, but it's just like this psychological thing that's going on. And so we need to discern the difference between genuine enlightenment and not just having like a good experience or whatever, an experience that can cause psychological revelations or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, point being, don't trust everyone that you hear on the internet. Even me. I mean, I can say that I have no ego about being a spiritual teacher. The main reason why I wanted to come on and make YouTube videos is because I just wanted to share the things that I was learning with other people. Like in this program here, patreon.com/GabbaTheShaman, the Self-Transformation Challenge. That's actually something that I learned from a Taoist master, and that I am now teaching. I have permission to teach it. And so yeah, it's kind of been handed down to me, and I've gained a level of proficiency with it where now I feel comfortable teaching it to people. While we're on that subject, I can say that I would never claim to be enlightened. That's just too much. An enlightened master, no. If you think about it, everybody's human. Everybody has the same human tendencies, human needs, human desires, and even the most spiritual, even the most enlightened people, they still have those desires. It's not going away, desires and urges and all that. There's nobody whose crap doesn't sting just as much as the rest of us, right? So even, gurus and whatever, yes, you can say that they're wise and they're knowledgeable. Fantastic. Great. Listen to them, but, that they're not any more enlightened than any of the rest of us. They're still human. They're not ascended masters, or they haven't lost their humanity. Just because they're a spiritual teacher doesn't mean they've lost their humanity. And that's important, because I feel like a lot of people are trying to use spirituality as a way of escapism, as a way to escape their lives and their situations and whatever, through meditation and whatever. But especially with this practice right here, if you do this practice, there is no escaping. It will give you good feelings. That's true. You will feel like much more at peace in your situation. You will feel much more at peace, and you will become more aware of your emotions. So, like, it's just this whole spiritual new agey thing. It's gotten, people have gotten way too wrapped up in their intellect, in their upper brain. Rather than being, like acknowledging their feelings and their frustrations about life and the stuff that's going on in their heart center, which is where we need to be tapped into. Rather than going to the heart, we go up here to the brain to try to make sense of things and, appeal to logic, appeal to our intellect and all that. So, I guess what I'm saying is not every spiritual teacher has your best interest at heart. Some of them, especially on YouTube, are just way too wrapped up in their own ego. And plus, like, with the New Age thing, a lot of them don't have the experience that it's very, I guess I should talk about the New Age movement in a separate video, but, it's very philosophical, it's very, just mental, just, like, there's no practicality, no set, like, it's very, very subjective, very, going by your feelings and whatever. So, and that gets you nowhere, basically, because if you don't have an objective, how can you tell if you're making any progress? People who practice the law of attraction, sitting on the edge of their bed and praying and hoping and having these positive thoughts and whatever. My personal experience with that is that it doesn't work. I've tried it for a good, couple years. I've tried magic, I've tried the occult, I've tried just various types of magic. But yeah, that's all. I don't know. It all seems to be escapism to me. There's just like, I don't know. I really can't explain it. It's just the new practices that I've been doing for the past 8 months, which are over here. Those practices have brought me more enlightenment, more peace in my life, more healing, more fulfillment, more contentment with my everyday life, than the law of attraction, than magic, than anything else. And that's partly because, well, I would say it's mostly because I'm tapping into my body doing these practices. This is like Qigong, which, if you don't know, Qigong, I'll have to make a video about what Qigong is and all that. But it's basically energy work, moving your body, coordinating your movements with your breath, doing certain movements with your hands and your arms in order to open up some meridians in your chest, actually it's the pericardium meridian, which goes down your arm into your hand and into one of these fingers, which I'm not going to show you right now, just because that's in this. So, yeah. So, back to spiritual gurus. So, it's one of those things with the New Age movement is you have to be really discerning about who you trust and who you listen to, because some gurus are not here for your enlightenment. They're not here to help you. And not naming names, I'm just saying that I've seen this happen before. I've seen gurus be more interested in their own, personal agendas and getting, attracting women and attracting, fame and glory to their name before they accomplish, actually wanting to help others and actually helping others. So I can say this, like if you're looking to another person, and putting them ahead of your own enlightenment and you're ahead of your own spiritual progress and journey, that's the wrong move. You've got to put yourself first. You've got to make sure that you are, I've seen it before where people get all wrapped up in this one teacher, and everything becomes about that teacher. Oh, this one teacher, this one guru is a bodhisattva. He's like, all of his followers were saying that he's, this enlightened deity and whatever. He's, overcome like reincarnation or whatever. It's just like too much, and it is fair to say, like, to point out that you can become your own guru, but which that's true. Once you have the basic understandings and the basic spiritual practices down, you literally can become your own guru. You can become your own, teacher. But it just takes you need to get into some practices where you actually learn from a teacher who's experienced in doing the practices and stuff. And I mean, personally, I would much rather learn from somebody who is like one or two steps ahead of me spiritually, rather than this like untouchable like guru who's on the mountaintop and and somebody who's just unrelatable. I would rather have someone who's relatable, who's a little bit of ahead of me, and because they're still tapped into their humanity. They're not thinking that they're some god or some enlightened being. They're still human, and so yeah. Let me see what else. Um, yeah, so I think that's about it. I was gonna talk about New Age stuff, but I think I already got into that. Just like, I mean, here's a question for you, okay? Would you rather have something that's just now being invented, or would you rather have something that is, you know, centuries old and time and withstand has withstand the test of time, basically? Because practices like qigong, practices like kundalini yoga, um, practices like pranayama, practices like shamanic breathing, these very simple things have been done for centuries, for thousands of years, by by the earliest civilizations known to man, like the earliest primitive humans, the hunter gatherers, would actually shamanic uh, journey, or have these shamanic dreams and use them practically. So, like for instance, if a chief, if a if somebody in the tribe had a vision of a herd of elk or whatever, that was just to the north of them, beyond the mountain pass, um, they would go and tell the chief, and they would say, okay, well, let's go check it out. Let's go get a hunting party. And because of that vision that they had, they actually were able to secure some meat, for the tribe. And so spirituality was very practical thousands of years ago. Within, like, in the earliest tribes, in the earliest people groups, when mankind was just kind of coming into its existence, um, these tribes would use shamanic principles to tap into something on the spiritual realm that would then uh, be used to deliver practical results. And so that's basically the thing about this, because I want you to ask yourself this one question: are you using spirituality to escape your reality, or to enhance it, or to better your life, basically? Because those are two different things. You can't escape and better your life. You have to better your life, or you escape, basically. And I see a lot of people in the spiritual community who are using spirituality as an escape. Um, and I was guilty of this as well for, several years of my life. I was into new agey things, and just, kind of looking for something that would, like, take me out of my reality. And I learned how to astral project and different things like that. And yeah, it's pretty much a waste of time. It is pretty much a waste of time. Um, so you have to be critical thinking about your own unconscious agendas, because you can fool yourself into thinking that you want to better your life when you really want to escape through spirituality. That's one thing that I have found in my own life. Now, these practices over here, they're designed to have a practical effect on your physiology, on your mental state, on your emotional state, on your physical body, and on, at the energetic level too. And so it works on all levels, on the spiritual, the physical, the emotional, the energetic, all those levels. And it basically, well, I kind of told you what it did in the last video, right? The tapping into your infinite power of your soul video. Basically, it unlocks the energy around your soul. Yeah. So give me a second. So yeah, I guess I'll go into talking about the pericardium meridian a little bit. And okay, so how this works is your soul is like a tiny, you know how they have black holes? Well, there's also things called white holes, and it's kind of like a black hole, but it's emitting light. Black holes absorb light. Your soul basically emits light. It's from this tiny little point in your chest, in your heart center. And then and because your soul is infinite, it has to be surrounded by something that's very powerful and that protects it and surrounds it. This is called the Shakti energy, the feminine energy of the pericardium meridian. And it basically surrounds it, and it protects the soul from, the Hindus call this samskaras, basically, traumatic events in your life, or traumatic things from past lives that are kind of, it's this lightning energy of the pericardium meridian that kind of holds, like protects the soul from experiencing the trauma and the harshness of this reality. And that's where we get, people learn to dissociate. They learn to leave their bodies. They learn to just black out, and that's part of them. That's part of their pericardium meridian, trying to protect their soul from experiencing the trauma. But what happens is, over 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 plus years of us going through, traumas. They don't have to be huge traumas, but anything from us getting our heart broken, or our feelings hurt, our parents not loving us in the way that we need loved. It can be anything and everything, literally. So this pericardium meridian holds on to those traumas, those hurts. And so every time it holds on to a new trauma, a new hurt, that takes up energy. It takes energy because we're holding on to these things, and basically we're we're using up so much energy, so much of our energy just trying to hold on to these things and protect our soul from having to deal with it, having to process it. And so, a lot of us have a lot of trauma in our lives that we are processing, that we're totally unconscious of. And so, what this practice does right here, the self-transformation challenge, what the practices in that program do is they open up the pericardium meridian. They say, hey, they're basically messaging the pericardium meridian saying, hey, it's okay, it's okay to drop that, drop those traumas. We can handle them, we can process them, we can heal from them now. And so it will begin to say, okay, you don't need like to worry about protecting you from this trauma. Okay, so then it'll drop all the traumas, and then you'll start going through like emotionals, you'll start becoming conscious of your emotions and everything that's going on, everything that you've been holding on to all your life that you haven't processed. So like every trauma that you've ever experienced, every emotional upset that you've ever experienced in your life, or that you've ever like gone through and like put it off till later, all of that stuff is just coming up. And so it's like a purging experience. You're like purging all of this stuff, and your soul is you're basically telling your soul by doing this exercise that it's okay to release that. And so your soul is like actually processing all these traumas now, and it's it's working through them. It's working through them. And so you'll become conscious of the feelings that you've been suppressing all your life. So, but the end result of this practice, the end result of this practice is that your body will heal. The cells in your body will regenerate. Your DNA will heal itself. Because you gotta remember that emotion, I did a video about this a while ago. Emotions are just energy. And the more emotions that you haven't dealt with, that's a lot of energy that's just stuck, that's just stagnant, just in your body, and that's causing disease, that's causing illness, that's causing old age, that's causing cancer, heart disease, all kinds of illnesses. And so it's actually the traumas that you haven't dealt with, that you are pushing off, that you're refusing to deal with, that are actually causing your illness. You think that by not dealing with your shit, not dealing with your traumas, that you're actually, helping yourself. But it's the opposite. You're actually hurting yourself by not dealing with things, by not processing things, by not becoming conscious of your emotions, by not becoming conscious of your emotional agendas, by not becoming conscious of your victim mindset, victim mentality. And so by not becoming conscious of this stuff, you're actually hurting yourself on a physical level. And this is where spirituality meets practicality, because by doing these spiritual exercises, you're actually practically healing your body. You're actually healing your psychology, your mind, your body, your soul in a practical way. And so, you know, a lot of people who do this practice end up needing therapy, and that's not a bad thing. That just means that a lot of their shit's coming out, and so they need somebody to talk to, and they need somebody to process their stuff with. And so, yeah, that's so so. I mean, even if you do need a therapist or whatever, it's healthy. It's helpful to have like an objective opinion, to an objective person who's like outside of your life to bounce things off of and make sure that you're you know going in the right direction and stuff. So this stuff that I teach, it's not just spiritual nonsense. It's very practical. It will tap you into your higher self. It'll open your third eye, which a lot of people get that confused. They think that if they open their third eye, they're gonna see, see spiritual stuff, become psychic and whatever. That's not the case at all. What true third eye opening is actually becoming aware, becoming conscious of your unconscious crap. So there's a quote by Carl Jung that I wanted to talk to you about. And he says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Now, this is because we as humans have what's called our conscious mind, our subconscious mind, and our unconscious mind. We have 3 minds, and a lot of people get the subconscious confused with the unconscious. That a lot of 99% of what the people, the new agey people call the subconscious is actually the unconscious, because the unconscious rules the bodily functions, the heart rate, the breathing, the hormone secretion, and things like that. And so things like our beliefs, our habits, our beliefs, habits, assumptions about the world, core beliefs, things like that. Those are all in the unconscious mind. And so, so unless we make those things conscious, they will direct our lives, and even though we might not so those things are called unconscious for a reason, because we're not conscious of them. So but this practice actually makes us conscious of all of our unconscious programming. All that stuff is called programming. Our beliefs, our assumptions, our our values, our core beliefs, all that stuff is programming, unconscious programming. And so, the more we do this practice here, the more we will become aware of our programming. And that's the thing, that like the unconscious mind is designed to keep you safe. And so the more you're aware of your unconscious programming, the more you can see, oh, that's just, that that behavior or that habit is, part of my unconscious. And so I I basically becoming aware of it kind of hijacks it, because something it can't be in your conscious mind and your unconscious mind at the same time, or else it just doesn't work like that. So whatever is unconscious, you have no clue of, you're not conscious of. It's literally unconscious. So like, let's say you have a fear of money, or like a belief that money is evil. Okay, if you then use the law of attraction to say, oh, I want to become a multimillionaire, I want money, I like money, blah blah blah. You're telling yourself this stuff on the conscious level. But meanwhile, on the subconscious level, because your dad got angry because he had to pay taxes or whatever when you were like 2, and started bitching and moaning about paying taxes, and I can't afford everything, I can't afford anything, and all that got lodged into your unconscious mind. And now you have a programming about hating money, about fearing money, about being broke. But consciously, you're telling yourself, oh, I want to become a multimillionaire, I want to do this, I want to do that. But the unconscious programming says, nope, this is what we're programmed with, and that's that. Like, if you have money, you're going to upset your dad. Your dad's gonna hate you now because you have money, because he hates money. And so it's this protective programming of the unconscious that keeps us in poverty, that keeps us, it keeps us, it's designed to keep us safe, but it doesn't know what safe is. It thinks, oh, if I just stay poor, if I just stay broke, then I'll be safe. Then my dad will love me. Then my mom will love me, kind of thing. And so this practice over here, that all brings all that stuff from the unconscious up to the conscious mind, so that you can be aware of it. And the more you do it, the more programming you're gonna purge from your unconscious and become aware of. And so, self-awareness is key. Once again, Carl Jung, I'll read this quote to you again. Carl Jung says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. So, being in poverty or whatever, like, you will think it's fate. You will think, oh, that's just God's will. That's just, that's just what the universe has planned for me, to be, to be miserable, to be poor, to be unhealthy, to be, all these things. But yet, it's the unconscious programming that's actually doing that to you. It's your own mind that's keeping you there, that's keeping you in poverty, that's keeping you unhealthy, that's keeping you unhappy. And so, yeah, It's really, it's incredible. The power of your mind is just incredible. In fact, you know, there was a study done on um, people with multiple personalities. So they had this group of different people with different personalities, and they would actually, take their blood tests of the different personalities. So they would have a person switch from one personality to another personality, take the personality of one, or take the blood test of one personality and compare it to a blood test of the other personality, and one personality, they were in the study, they were saying that the blood tests were different. How could a blood test be, so dramatically different, between one personality and the next? Within the blood tests were taken within a matter of hours, uh, between each other, and there was this one patient with who had one personality with diabetes, and the other personality didn't have diabetes, and the blood test would actually show the glucose levels being higher in the diabetic one, and the glucose levels being lower in the non-diabetic one. And like that, how is that even possible? You know, it's the power of the mind is incredible. Um, and so, people with multiple personalities, um, they had a ton of trauma in their childhood because they had to dissociate. They had to make this other personality, this other persona, in order to get mommy and daddy's approval, and in order, like, as a coping mechanism to be safe, and whatever. So the power of your mind is incredible, and Western medicine doesn't talk about the psychosomatic effects of the unconscious, and so really, in order to heal your body, you have to heal your psychology, you have to heal your emotions, you have to heal on other levels. And this just goes to show the interconnectedness of all things, because everything is connected. So you might think that, oh, just doing these spiritual practices will help you, get connected spiritually, which it will, but it will also heal you physically, it will heal you emotionally, it will heal you psychologically, and in any and every other way possible. And I really can't tell you what exactly it will do to you, or what it will do for you. I can tell you what it's done for me. It's raised my testosterone levels. It's done a whole bunch of stuff. It's helped me get get the proper thyroid levels and things like that. Helped me. Well, now I'm actually growing some facial hair. You probably can't see it on camera, but it's there. Um, yeah, so um, it's helped me a ton in a lot of different ways, emotionally, psychologically. Um, I'm more at peace and more content now with my life. Um, things like that. Just it's it's this multifaceted, like, it's one thing that has many facets, many uses, and so yeah, it's really helpful and powerful. And another thing I want to mention about this practice in particular, this taps into an energy that has never been publicly, brought to the public's attention, which is, I just told you about it. It's the pericardium meridian, the energy that surrounds your soul and protects it from the traumatic events and things, emotions and whatnot. And so the pericardium meridian, when that lightning energy is released into your body, because again we're dropping all the traumas so that we can free that meridian up, so it can open up and go, throughout our body. And that's actually what heals us. The more we open up that meridian, the more the energy flows throughout our body and we heal. Okay? So it's like, so yeah, what else could I say? Yeah, I really don't think there's much else to say. It's so it's basically my teacher calls this lightning qigong, and it's tapping into the pericardium meridian, but it's a secret practice that actually not a lot of people know about. It's not widely discussed out there in the public. My teacher is about I think about he's one of the handful of people who know about this thing, about this technique, about this energy practice, and all that. He's one of the few masters who knows about it and is actively teaching it. So it's a very powerful practice. It's not to be underestimated. You do need bravery. You do need an amount of bravery and courage and dedication to actually, commit to your healing and commit to mastering this stuff. Yeah. So, what else could I say? I think that's about it, guys. I intended for this to be a short video, but it turns out not to be such a short video. Yeah, I will talk to you guys next time, and who knows, maybe we'll do a live stream or something next time, so you can ask me questions and all that good stuff. Oh, by the way, if you have any questions about anything that I've talked about, I'm an open book. I will help you as best I can. Leave your questions in the comments down below, and I'll answer them. Also, any video topic suggestions or anything like that, just leave it down below. Also, remember to let's see if I can do this. It's right there. Like, subscribe, and click that bell. Just helps the channel, helps my videos go out to more people, and yeah, so liking, subscribing, and all that helps the channel. And also, I still do Vedic astrology readings, and you can find that link. It's right up there, right there. Vincent.thunderwizard.com. And yeah, so you can go there to get a Vedic astrology reading. And my Vedic astrology readings are now 30% off. And that's a continual price that I'm gonna keep it at, just because I want to help you guys out in any way I can. And you know, getting your Vedic astrology reading for 30% off, that's a pretty good deal. So go do it. Go, check that out while you can. And we will talk to you next time. Alright, guys. Be safe and, have a good day, and, tap into that pericardium meridian. It's good stuff. Talk to you later.